We are live.
We're live.
Too many comics are not enough. That's the question. Welcome everyone, and those that are watching later after the live stream, welcome to this video. Today we have a special guest. We have silver-haired, bronze-age babe, and that's a mouthful to say.
It is.
Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Thank you so much for having me. I am having a blast, and I tell you, if I had known that other people would actually have to say silver-haired, bronze-age babe out loud, I would have picked a different name. I apologize to everyone. So it's great. And this is the first time that people are seeing my smiling comic book loving face.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I decided when I started my little endeavor to focus on the books. And the way my home office is set up, I actually had to change it around to do this. So the way my home office was set up, it just made it easy to put my iPhone in the corner, do all that. But it just seems more fitting if we're going to have a face-to-face chat to actually see face-to-face. So that's what I'm doing. So thank you so much for having me.
Well, we got 5 people watching. We got Unruly Simeon. We got Scott Neely. We got King of Comicdom. We have a few others.
King of Comicdom, I just watched his video of his tour, his room tour. I went to go visit him and maybe steal some things, but it was amazing.
I told him I can't chat anymore because I just have to keep staring at the screen.
Well, he has that beautiful spinner rack that he has all his and what I love about it is like he said that it was the spinner rack he bought comics off of when he was younger, and so all the comics that he has in it, they're not bagged, they're not boarded. It's just comic books. So
nice. So before you get started, I'm wearing glasses because I'm really sick, guys. I look awful, so I'm trying to cover it up and look cool. So if anyone asks in the chat again why I'm wearing glasses, everybody tell them why.
His eyes are a little puffy.
So, Sarah, you
Yes.
are up. You are up. Show us a comic.
All right. So we were talking about Silver Age, and I love the Silver Age. And so I've got a stack here that is going to kind of run chronologically from my collection. And I thought I'd start out with this Action Comics from 1961. Now, some of you might recognize from my videos that the Lois Lane character here, that is where they got that. So, come on. This is one of the older books. I have some Superman starting in 1958, and I run through 1979. But this Action Comics is absolutely one of my favorite books. It's a great story. And just the fun factor of this cover is what just makes it an absolute classic and a keeper for me. So
that's Kryptonite Girl, right?
I think that's what they call her.
Because I showed you that I think it was a Lois Lane that I had. I just bought that has the imaginary tail, or she's the Kryptonite Girl.
Well, you know what? There was they had another one, another iteration of Lois who could fly. I'm not sure it was this one, but again, because I'm so old, yes, I've read them, but don't ask me if I remember them all. So
we got 7 in the chat now. We got Alfred Westcott. Welcome, brother. We got
look,
Thomas
I can
Churchill.
actually see them. Oh, look. Okay. Yeah. Just like a big girl. Got it. Okay.
Something happened to my screen and it got bigger, and now I can't access my thing over here. Okay, so I'm going to try to get me to go bigger. Let's see if I can get over there. Yep, there we go. So I got up is Green Lantern 63, April 1969.
Oh, nice.
Gil Kane cover, of course. I don't remember anything about this. I read it quite a while ago.
That is beautiful.
Just a nice Gil Kane cover.
It's one of those take this cape and shove it kind of stories, right?
Walk away from the superhero biz.
Right, exactly. It's kind of a DC Comics thing. So
we got Jackson, Roy Kirk in. Yes, we can see you. Okay, so what do you want to show us now?
From 1962, Lois Lane. This I love because I'm sorry, I keep doing this
of the
backward.
nerds.
There we go. So the mermaid family. I had seen this story originally in a reprint of Lois Lane that ran in the Bronze Age, a book that I love. And so I knew the story because I just kept reading it over and over again. Then when I got into collecting Lois Lane's silver editions, I finally got the actual book, and I love this cover for it. It's absolutely just epitomizes Silver Age Lois Lane. Oh, woe is me. He's not going to marry me. He loves, a mermaid. But it's just fun. It's just a fun book.
It looks like she's wearing a nurse's hat too.
It does. In later iterations, Lois Lane became a volunteer nurse in the Bronze Age. So, but I love the gloves too. She's always stylish, very stylish.
All right, so I'm going to go with a war book. I'm going to go with a 100-page milestone issue of All-American Men at War.
Nice.
I don't know who does this cover. Let me take off this banner.
I was going to say, somebody must know out there.
I picked that up at the flea market. I think it was like $3.
That's the right amount of money.
I know, you can't go wrong at $3.
Scott Neely says he's been buying one Silver Age comic per week. That's not enough. You gotta buy more.
Unruly Simeon says Lois Lane always had Three's Company misunderstanding.
Exactly. Come and knock on her door.
We got Michael Dodds with us too. Hey, Michael. So we got 9 watching.
Michael Dodd, are you the one who does the horror comics?
That's him.
I just saw a couple of your videos the other day, and you inspired me. In fact, I was just telling Mike that I, in part inspired by you, and also something that I had picked up along the way. I got a handful of weird mystery books from the Bronze Age today. The price was right on
So
on
tell
the
us what
eBay.
the price is.
They were I think I got about 12 books, and they were about $2 a piece.
Wow, you're hitting the mark.
Perfect, right?
Yeah.
I mean, hello. And I am a big fan of actually anthology kind of books like this. And there's some amazing writers. Steve Skeets wrote for this. Michael Fleischer wrote for this.
Yeah.
So there's some amazing gems, I think, buried in these. And I think I want to thank Michael Dodd for giving me the idea that, hey, wait a minute, I like that stuff. Let's go find some more.
And Michael Dodd, I told you about that one I was reading, The Sleigh Ride with Santa. That's in the video coming up probably tomorrow. That's that Michael Fleischer one I was telling you about.
I do. You're doing a video on that one. That's good.
Yeah, I did it. I just got to put it up.
Perfect. Good.
Well, go ahead. You want to show us Silver?
All right. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Other Silver Age.
Excuse me 1 minute. We got
sure.
Steven Spock in here. We got another one. So we got 10 watching. Go ahead.
That's good. Hey, everybody. Superman number 152 from 1960. One of the things that let me try and do glare, that I really appreciate about the Silver Age is that it was so optimistic and futuristic about, who we were as a nation back then. And particularly in terms of technology. And so this cover in particular, I just get a giggle out of, because not only is, oh my God, robots, they're robots. Oh, how terrible. But compared with the technology of a typewriter and a telephone, it's like they're juxtaposing that a little bit. But the story turns out that the robots I won't blow it for you because I know you want to read it. But the technology is a good thing. Technology is not something to be afraid of in the Silver Age. Technology is something that can be used for good and benevolence. So that's why I dig a lot of these stories. And this cover in particular, I just think it's just so Silver Age, something you'll probably hear me say a lot during this little chat. So this is a favorite for sure.
All right. I love it. I love that color. That cover looks so cool.
Isn't it?
Okay, so I'm going to show a Brave and the Bold, number 66, the greatest team up ever. Metamorpho, the Element Man, and Metalman.
I have to take that out of my pile now.
Oh, you could show the same one. There's nothing wrong with that. Do you have it? Could you have it handy?
I have it right here.
Okay,
Here
we're
we
going to
go,
show
double. Two fans who think alike. How great is that?
We do this every now and then. It's cool when we
That
both have
is
the same
great.
book.
Well, you can see why we're on the same wavelength here.
I haven't even read that yet.
I love Metamorpho.
All right.
I'm going to do a video at some point on my channel about Metamorpho because I have a thing for that guy.
They have a few up at the antique store about a mile from here for $3, like 4 or 5 issues.
Of Metamorpho.
Really low grade, but they're really low grade. But then they have like Silver Age, Marvels, Thors, and Hulk. So I always get one of those instead of I leave the Metamorphos there.
Well, the Metamorpho, I'll give you. This is Silver-Haired Bronze Age Babe's comic buying advice, which is the first issues of Metamorpho in The Brave and the Bold, and then his own comic, like the first 5, are probably the ones that you want because the artist was Ramona Fradon, and she had her own thing, and she had a great style. And then after she left that book, it kind of lost its pizzazz. So, just when you're looking out for Metamorpho, just stick with the early issues.
So we and Sarah were talking yesterday, Michael Dodd, about the same subject, kind of like Neil Adams kind of popped our cherry, kind of took away our innocence when he came along because he brought the more mature art, the more mature story, and the days of the innocent Superman Lois Lanes were kind of just going out the window at that time. So it wasn't a good way, though. It wasn't a bad way. You know how when you grow up and you see the world in a whole new set of eyes? That's what happened, I believe, when Neil Adams came along.
Well, the first comic book that I fell in love with was a Neil Adams Brave and Bold. And I'll tell you what, the images that grabbed my attention then have stayed with me forever. Like you can't take the image of Aquaman's hand reaching over and grabbing Batman's shoulder. I mean, it's just one simple little thing, but that's how comic books are. They just stick with you if you happen to launch into them at the right time in your life. So, and then of course the result is stuff like this, piles like this, boxes like that.
Well, go ahead, show us another one.
All right. How about some Action Comics from 1962?
Nice.
What I really have fun with in the Silver Age, as far as Superman is concerned, is that they were building out his mythology and his world, because I think up to during the Golden Age, I think you can correct me, or someone else can, that it was mostly he is strong, he can fly, he is impervious, he wins every time. So I mean the story possibilities were kind of limited, I think, and so that in the 50s and 60s they built out different colors of kryptonite and the Candor thing and a whole different vibe of what else in his past and stuff could make interesting stories. So this is an all red kryptonite issue, by popular demand. I remember a Mad Magazine had a by popular demand in parentheses, Joe Popular demanded it. But you have to, I love this cover because he's in half Pepto-Bismol pink. Pink was another, I don't know if you've noticed, but pink makes a lot of appearances in the early Silver Age as a cover color design. So, but anyway.
Nice. Let me see here. I don't want to show another Brave and the Bold right away. I'm going to go with an Adventure Comics number 342, featuring Scott Neely's favorite characters, Superboy and the Legion of Superheroes.
Nice. Nice. Oh, with the go-go checks.
Now you're going to hate me when I tell you what I paid for this.
Uh,
I think less than $1. I went to a flea market. The guy had a short box of all Adventure Comics Silver Age. And I said, how about $50 for the whole box? Because he had $5 a piece on them. He's like, oh, I can't do that. So I did the walk away, and he called me right back. Okay, I'll do it.
Those are great. Now, do you like the Legion?
I love the Legion.
You love the Legion? Yeah, it's been a slow. They have grown very slowly on me. I had trouble as a youth because there just seemed to be so many of them. But one of the books is one of the books that started my collection. A family friend had given me a bunch of coverless things, and a Chameleon Boy based cover was one of those, and so I just poured over that as a kid. And I have a nice copy somewhere up on that wall because it is cool. But on the whole, the Legion, there's just so many of them.
For some reason, I'm losing power.
He can't
hear. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
What the heck happened?
You can hear me. You can hear.
Arg. Hold on a sec. I guess I don't know what happened. We got Sleeper Reader 66.
Oh, I love him and his daughter. I love those videos with his daughter. And his other ones too, but his daughter's cool. She likes Lois Lane.
Who doesn't?
Come on.
I love Lois Lane. Okay, Lana Lang. No, not Lana Lang. Yeah, Lana Lang. No.
Lana Lang.
Who's the one from Smallville?
Lana Lang.
Lana Lang.
Yep.
And then Lois Lane.
Right.
Okay.
And then Lori Lamaris. So all of Supergirl's girlfriends had an LL attached to them.
I just read an issue of Lois Lane where supposedly she killed Lana Lang because they were in a kind of tussle at a movie studio. It was like a kind of like a reality show. She was driving home and she went off the road into the icy water, and in shock, she forgot she was in the car and she went home. Oh, yeah, I showed you that when Batman was her lawyer.
Right. That's it. That's the one.
And Superman was the prosecutor.
Yeah. It's like not only does he have a bat cave and all the toys, he's also went to law school. Okay.
All right. Let me see what I got here. I'm going to go with an 80-page giant. Now, you know what? I'm going to go with this one.
Oh, nice.
Second appearance of Professor Zoom.
Wow.
Flash number 147, September 64.
Wow.
I don't even know where I got this. I was shocked that I had it. I guess this book got hot like a year and a half, 2 years ago or something with the TV show.
I was just going to ask you if you watched the TV show.
I watched the first season, but it seemed too immature for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've hung in with the Flash, although I found myself, I've started to DVR them, like the CW shows, and I find myself fast forwarding and like kind of not paying attention as much as I used to basically all of them. I fell out of Green Lantern after 3 seasons. I just got too confused.
Green Arrow?
Green Arrow, yeah, sorry.
I watched it probably the most out of all of them. I watched Supergirl for 1 season. Same thing. The whole thing with the agents. Her sister was a secret agent,
right?
Or something.
Yeah,
I didn't care for that storyline at all.
Well, the thing that strikes me about the CW shows and the DC, I know nothing about current comic books. I literally know nothing. But if they are doing what the shows would have me believe. They're mostly interested in aliens as opposed to humans. Or metahumans, or you know what I mean? And so I think that's one of the things that, like, why I get a kick out of my Lois Lane, because, you know, to have a superhero or to have an alien around, it's like you want to juxtapose that with, well, what's it like to be in relationship with humans, you know? So, so I kind of miss that, you know?
I have to tell you,
Batwoman is good so far. I'm enjoying it.
I haven't seen it, but I only watched the Green Arrow for Black Canary. That's why I liked it.
Me too. Something we agree on.
I think it's your turn.
All right. Well, you did a Green Lantern.
I was going to shout TMC. We got him with us now. We got 14 in the chat.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll see your Green Lantern, and I'll raise you a Star Sapphire.
Nice. Oh, I'd love to have that one.
Oh, I love Star Sapphire. I've never been I mean, I don't dislike Green Lantern. I really like the 1970s run with Green Arrow and the Denny O'Neil and all that. But I got into these books because of Star Sapphire. Just the fact that, you know, aliens came and said, "You're going to be our queen," and they give her amnesia and they make her wear this outfit, and then she has to go try and get that guy to marry her. I mean, it's just great. And she has a wonderful appearance in mid-70s Superman issue, which maybe I'll do a video on at some point. So yeah, I'm all about Star Sapphire. And so
I'm with you. We got life with two YouTubers here now. We in the chat. How you doing? I believe Sharon is her name. Okay.
It's good to see other people liking Batwoman. I think I thought the pilot episode was a little rough, but
where are you watching that, on DC streaming service?
No, on the CW. So yeah, Batwoman is she at 8:00 on Sunday nights, and Supergirl is at 9:00 on Sunday nights.
I don't have regular TV. I wish I did.
Oh, I could never live without TV.
It was costing us way too much to have cable, so we just do internet and Hulu and Netflix and YouTube.
Yeah, we're one of the oddities. Most of the people we know have cut the cord too. So,
all right, let me see what I'm going to show. I'm going to show an 80-page giant again. Did I show one already? No, I didn't. Number 334, Action Comics presents Supergirl in an all-star collection of stories.
Nice.
Now, you know the one that has the game board on the cover?
I have that one. Yep.
I found that at my LCS here in town. They had it in the 50-cent bin.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I said, "Why is this in the 50-cent bin?" He says, "Because I didn't have a bag that fit it." I said, "Oh, okay, that's cool. I'll take it."
I was going to say, you took it, right?
Yes, definitely.
Well, one of the best stories in that one is the one at the end where I think she meets President Kennedy and Mrs. Kennedy, because it's a series of reprints. And so check out the last story in the game board one. It's
somewhere in these thousands of comics behind me.
It exists.
I'm like 7,000 comics behind the reading.
But that's good, you know. That's good to be behind. There's always, you know, you can always read a comic book.
All right. Trump me.
All right.
No pun intended. Go ahead, Trump me.
How about some Doom Patrol?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I wish I had that. You're showing some keys.
Oh, man. I recently got into the Doom Patrol. I'm going to do a video on it on my channel, so I'm not going to say too much, but I am in love with this series. And it started in My Greatest Adventures, and then they got their own book. And going back to the notion that science and technology is usually good, this is kind of an outlier, I think, for the DC world, because the members of the Doom Patrol there are three of them, and they were basically poisoned by radiation in different ways, and it ostensibly ruined their lives, and they suffered from PTSD until a guy came called the Chief and came and gave them purpose. And oh my God, wait a minute, the Chief is in a wheelchair, and where have I heard this before? Apparently this came out a few months before X-Men, so for what that's worth. But I adore this book and this whole series. And they had, so I've been spending a lot more money than I should recently, picking up original copies of some of these books. They're great.
We got Bake the Snake in the chat. We're up to 15.
Mike, you run into a lot of dumbass sellers.
Hey, that's my LCS owner, man. He's cool. He gives me all kinds of deals.
Ah,
Number 92.
nice.
December 64. I love hourglass covers. Hourglass and crystal ball covers are cool.
Yeah, talk about a ticking clock. And I like that cover too because she's so huge. When Rita Farr goes big, she goes big.
All right, what do we got here? Same, spent $100 on a dollar comic last week. He's going the other way. All right, Sarah, what do you got?
All right. How about some strange adventure?
There you go. Oh, I didn't pull any of those. I can't get into my S boxes because I can't pull them out with my shoulder yet.
Oh, well, this again falls into, this is from 64, I think. And it falls into the category of during the Silver Age, all things space, all things aliens, all things out from the beyond. And what I really like about this, though, is that the story, this green hand, has come to Earth to help. It is not here to menace, believe it or not. Aliens are good. Technology is great. Exploration is wonderful. And science is awesome. That is kind of the Silver Age, I think, in kind of a nutshell, at least in DC comic land. So
the green hand just shows up.
It shows up with its big eraser, and it's erasing things. I found this at a flea market, and I think I paid like $4 for it. And it's in terrible shape. I think the bag and board are basically holding it together, but I love it so much. I'm never, ever going to part with it. So,
and it was worth every penny when you read it.
Every penny.
Okay, what am I going to show now? You know what? I'm going to go oddball here. This is Bob Hope number 81, June 63.
Oh my gosh.
That's Marilyn Monroe lookalike ghost.
Oh my gosh.
I think I paid $8 for it. My LCS has a bunch of these and Jerry Lewis comics. Never seen them before for years anywhere except for this store.
Wow.
He's got a few more there. They're still there. Nobody seems to care about this stuff.
I've never known anyone who's even had one.
You do.
The Gray Man. The Gray Man's here.
Hey, and Knights of Old and the Comic Assassin. Wow, they all just snuck up on it. What's up, brothers? Welcome to the Silver Age of DC tonight.
Yeah, Gray Man has been very kind on my channel. He
is awesome.
He is fun and funny, and let's just say Gray Man gets the joke, man.
Go back in my videos. I did a spoof of his opening. I did me, and then I spun around and I'm in my Batman underwear.
Yeah, I'll look for that.
It's funny.
All right, I'm up.
Yes.
Okay, how about some... Oh, I was just slagging on the Legion of Superheroes, but I'll show one anyway. This is from 1964, Adventure Comics, and it's The Revolt of the Girl Legionnaires. If anyone's been watching my channel, you know that I have a semi-recurring series called Women's Libbers from Space. And I'm going to do a video on this book because it falls into that category. So for all of the stuff that I was saying before about how the Silver Age is very pro-space and pro-aliens, and not in this case, the alien creates a lot of havoc. So, but it's just, I really love the cover too. I just think it's, you know, the time has come to destroy the boy Legionnaires. My victim will be Superboy. So that's just, it's classic. So, Gray Man, yes, I know. Thank you for the Mashovism was the my video today on a Wonder Woman issue that was an interesting experience from second wave feminism.
Well, I can't show Bob Hope without showing Jerry Lewis.
Perfect.
I also have the issue where he meets Batman and Robin and the Joker.
God, I clearly need to add a couple of these to the collection. Did Neil Adams do any covers for either of these? Because that way
I don't think so.
Yeah. Michael Dodd is saying Avengers 83 is a big Marvel women's lib book. I got to get it. I'm writing it down.
Yeah, that book's expensive.
Oh.
It's the first all-female team by Marvel.
Oh.
And it's the first appearance of the Valkyrie, too.
Oh. So even a crap copy would be...
Yeah.
Eh.
I did pick up the first appearance of the Legion of Supervillains for $8, but it's in my box somewhere. I was shocked that I got that for cheap. It was here in town.
You know, we do not have comic book emporiums. Yeah, I have one in my town and I love it. They're very nice, but they never have, all their older books are, if they have any Bronze Age, it's amazing. Most are from the 90s and 2000s. And it's like, it's not what I want.
Well, I've been out of work, but when I'm working, I usually go and drop $100 at every time I go to one of the shops. So every time I come in, they know that he always comes in, he always spends money, so they're always willing to just cut me like 20% off whatever I pick out, which is, you know, I found cool. Or
nice. Well, you're a regular. Everyone knows your name. Nighttiger. All right, am I up?
Yes.
All right. How about something completely different? Young Love.
Oh yeah, that was a Kirby title.
Yeah, originally.
Yeah.
So this is from 1964, and I have two runs of these romance comics. I did a video on one of them, which was a flight attendant, or excuse me, stewardess named Bonnie Taylor. The other recurring character is this nurse, Mary Robin, RN, and her romantic adventures at County General Hospital. I want to put out a plea to anyone out there. I am missing issue number 40 of this to complete my cover run of Mary Robin. If anyone has a lead on it, let me know, because I want it. I love these covers because the guy who did them, it's John Romita, correct? The guy who eventually went over to Marvel to do work on, what was his name? Spider-Man. So that's, I mean, and I think that I know DC used this cover when they put out a trade paperback collecting a lot of their Silver Age and Bronze Age romance comics. This was the cover they elected to use, and I think it's perfect. It just encapsulates everything about Silver Age romance books, and I love it.
And Remita did some. He did some romance books for Marvel too.
Oh, he did.
Mm-hmm. And that was Young Love, and what was the other one? They started in Crestwood, Simon and Kirby Company in DC, took over the licensing eventually. Okay.
The stewardess, didn't her fella die? Yes. Gray Man is asking if in the stewardess thing, Bonnie, she fell in love every single issue, and then something, she'd either get dumped, or in one case he died, like in front of her. But that, 3 days later, she flew home on a flight and I met a really handsome pilot. So she was in love again. Because that's how it works.
And that's how comics work.
That's how it works.
I'm going to show a Detective 296, October 61. Neat. Menace of the Planet Master.
Wow. That is beautiful.
I think I paid $20 for this here at an antique store that closed down.
Worth it.
Just a cool looking like space uniform on that guy.
Yep.
Excuse me. And you are up.
I'm up. Okay. Here's Superman from 1966. I really love this cover. It's not that the story is so amazing. It might be. I just don't remember. But I love how of its time, this 1966 is this. The go-go checks on the top. That's always been a favorite cover element design of DC stuff for me. But I think the color dynamics of this particular issue and how it's just kind of like, I love that blue that's on that. And that those elements are just so flowy. And I don't know how to describe it other than it's just one of my favorite covers. It always has been. And it just screams Silver Age DC.
Oh, yeah, I have that one.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you show another one. This computer is messing up. I need to go get my wife. Okay. It made the screen so big, I can't do anything.
We need tech support.
Yeah.
So I will riff. I'm just looking at Michael Dodd, Classic Soups. It is. So here's another classic. I've shown this on my channel before, and everyone knows it, I know. I was woefully behind on my Carmine Infantino, and so I got this recently with a bunch of others from that era. And I love it because he's crying. There was a guy on Tumblr who had his blog was called Superheroes Are Crybabies, and all he would post would be scans of superhero comics where they're crying. So this is in honor of that. But Carmine Infantino is one of my favorites, and really set the stage for what Neil Adams was able to do later on. I hear the tech people.
I'm over here. Sarah, go ahead and keep showing. I'm trying to figure this out.
All right. While you figure that out, how about some Justice League? This is from 1967. And, you can tell how the colors of the Silver Age books are just they're just popping. There's so much more energy and vitality to them that's going on and I kind of like this cover because it's kind of the best of, the new with those vibrant colors and kind of a dramatic arc and a purple shadow of the hand. with the old of just the superheroes lying stiff as a board, and not moving, which I think was kind of the hallmark of a lot of Silver Age covers in the beginning of the era, where they're just kind of standing there. So, dig it. Like compare and contrast. Wait, she says, well, that one's actually a bad one, but I won't compare and contrast. So then things got really interesting. 1968. Things are hopping. Someone help me out here. I think this is an Herb Novik cover. But at this point in the Silver Age, he's filling the page. They're just filling the page with color and size and energy. And it is a cool use of the medium, and just one of my favorites. I had no idea when he asked me to be on that I was going to just do this all by myself for so long. I gotta ask my union rep about this. Wonder Woman. Okay, I am not the biggest Wonder Woman fan. It may strike people as odd, but I'm really not. Although I've gotten a few of these Silver Age covers over the years, and this was, again, 1968, a few issues before they changed her up and made her Diana Prince, karate expert and clothing boutique owner. And this story, actually, I actually kind of get a kick out of it. One of the reasons I get a kick out of it is because she's been actually turned into a kid. That's the real Wonder Woman. And the giantess who's like careening down upon her is, oh my God, an alien, a bad alien. And it has something to do with Steve Trevor and winning his love. So, but again, this just is so Silver Age. It's just so Silver Age. And you can't have, I'm going to be running out of my stuff here in a minute. So I'm just going to forewarn you that after I run out of books, I might have to like start playing ukulele for you or something. But I don't know. Also 1968, The Atom. Gil Kane. He is on my list of books to get some more samples of. I really like his stuff, and I just haven't. It just hasn't gotten to picking up that many of them. But if there is, I mean, to me, this says comic book. This is what a comic book would be if you had to go to Central Casting, send me a comic book. I think you'd come up with something like this. So, yay, Gil Kane. Also from 1968. I've said before on the videos on my channel that I have a thing for characters. Oh, he's back!
I'm back! I got it to work.
Nighttiger.
I don't know how long I'm going to get it to work here.
I will hold.
Okay, I'm gonna go.
Bud.
Okay, House of Mystery 115, October 61. I just bought this off eBay, paid $20. Nice high grade copy, but I'll tell you what, the stories in here are so terrible.
Oh,
They were like written for a 3-year-old.
Oh.
Actually, the last story is not too bad. It's about a wizard who comes through like a time warp out of a cave. And these criminals trick him into using his magical stuff so they can rob banks and that. And I kept wondering, why didn't they put that wizard on this cover? It would have been so much cooler. He was in the pointed hat with all the stars and moons and stuff.
Yep.
Prisoner of the Golden Mask. She gets some kind of radiation, and so she has to wear this gold, like, containment suit. And this doctor's trying to help find a cure, but he's really trying to find where she got the power so he can steal it.
That's very cool.
What happened with this screen of mine? It went so huge I couldn't reach any of the buttons. It was just like it blew up so big. You're almost out of stuff?
Yeah, go. You have to do a couple now.
All right.
I need to rest. I'm old.
Not a problem. We didn't do any Blackhawk yet.
We'll
232.
do some. Ooh.
May 1967. With these rings, I thee kill. I think they're taking the phrases from Marvel's books. Oh, another Adventure Comics with the Superboy. This was out of that same box. 356, where they all become babies. The 5 Legion orphans.
Oh my God. Featuring
Dreamtop, Little Mon-El, and Baby Brainiac.
Oh my God.
It should have been Bratty Brainiac. And 76, My Greatest Adventure. This is from a shop in Tampa. They had to move 3 blocks because they were condemning the building. So he did an all half off everything in the bin sale. And he had a lot of gold in it. I mean, a lot of silver in it.
Those are so great.
These are expensive now.
Yeah.
Just for the odd issues, too. Tell me when you want me to stop. I got an 80-page giant of Flash.
Yeah, okay, I'll go after that.
The Flash of Two Worlds, Gorilla God, Boomerang, the Pied Piper, and who's this guy right here?
Got me.
Oh, it says Dr. Alchemy. He's got a big A on his forehead.
Yeah, well, speaking of big foreheads. Come on.
Oh, yeah.
Come on. You
Isn't that
can't
the
leave
leader?
that anywhere. This is from 1968. And there's something about this. First of all, anyone who has watched my channel knows I kind of have a thing for characters on covers that have big heads. And this is the biggest head on a cover that I have. And even though this is from 1968, it feels to me like it could have happened, 5 years ago. Because there's something a little different about it. But I don't know. It's funny. It's absolutely hysterical to me. And so it is one of those classic, I can't believe this isn't a key issue, but it is a key cover in my collection. So I have to keep it.
So anytime they show someone getting super intelligence, their head has to be like super big.
Exactly.
I got Brave and the Bold, number 50. 2 great heroes teamed up in a book-length blockbuster. Green Arrow and Martian the Manhunter from Mars.
Oh, wow. That is an old one. Neat.
Their first team up from 1963. Shoot, I wasn't even a fart in the air, as my dad would say.
That is neat. Oh, how about little Teen Titans?
Nice. I love that Nick Hardy classic look.
Yeah. But the thing that kills me about this particular cover, though, is it's so DC. The hands-off Buster and make me creep. Teen Titans talking trash.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so.
And they got to be hip and streetwise.
Oh my God! It's just stop, you guys. You can't do it.
And then
but
you got Hawk and Dove.
I know. It's just. But God love them, they tried, and they ended up with some cool covers and some cool comics. That's for sure. So.
We got I Love Disney. He's here with us. Hey, Steve. Welcome, buddy.
Yes, very salty language, isn't it? It's not for, this is an adult channel here, creep.
Everyone get a good look. You can see Steve on his little picture right there because he don't show his face on the channel. Sorry, Steve, had to do it. Okay. I like this story. It's kind of like in one of those quirky, dumb stories. The threat of the tattoo man. His tattoos come to life off his body.
Oh,
He's like a Popeye looking guy. Gil Kane, of course.
mm-hmm.
The classic Green Lantern curly like hair.
Cool.
I mean, it's the dumbest story. Tattoos coming to life off the body, and they just somehow appear right off his flesh. And that seems like a threat to Green Lantern.
Somebody else here had said something about what kind of drugs they were taking. It's like, I don't know. As the 60s wore on. Speaking of druggy, how about some Aquaman?
Oh yeah, another
These covers, he was just doing stuff that no one else in comics, I think, was doing.
he inked his own stuff.
It just, I don't know, man. It was like, and the fact, what I love about this one in particular is, yes, there's a help save me please, but there are no dialogue bubbles in it. You know, you wouldn't even need the help save me.
Right.
You wouldn't. But the color choice, it just seemed, you know, again, bold and vibrant and very 1968, you know, very kind of quasi-experimental or something. So these are just super fun.
I wonder if he inked his own work because a lot of times when you see the covers, they have like sketch lines in like this one.
Mm-hmm.
That is the best Nick Hardy to me when the work like that. I wonder if he did that himself when he inked it. Someone tell us here.
Yeah, somebody's got to know.
Psychedelic and groovy. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. That's what.
We got Captain Strangelove in comics and collectibles here. Silver Age was the time of great experimentation. Love the era.
Exactly. Oh, the comic collector's here. Hi. I love your videos.
Hans. I was trying to switch that over to the comic collector. Hey, comic collector. Simon Comics is here too. Hey, Simon. He's a big Simon and Kirby fan.
Oh, really? Because I'm starting to get into Mr. Kirby.
Okay. Yeah, I showed this one yesterday when we were chatting. Venture Comics 285. First Tales of the Bizarro World begins. The Bizarros were just so cool.
Well, that was part of the, you know, the 1950s, let's build out Superman's world. What other story possibilities? And,
Right.
you know, for them to come up, too, when you think about something that was just funny for funny's sake, kind of nifty.
I like every time they show the square world out in space, the planet.
And he talks like Frankenstein. Me hate Lois.
Oh, you know what I hate about the DC when they have everyone talk like babies? Me like it.
Yeah, super baby.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Me is good. Like you never hear a baby talk or a toddler talk like that.
No. All right, I've just got a few more here. We talked about Flash before.
You got the marriage issue.
I love this. I love the book. I love the cover, the go-go checks. This is from '66. And what I really like about the Flash, I have a pretty healthy collection of Flash. And I've always liked the character and I like him because of his relationship with Iris. You know, he's married and he likes being married, and she's great and she supports what he's up to. And it's a wonderful comic book character, and they handled that relationship so well. in the Silver Age, I thought, and I just so this is one of my favorite comic book covers. I like to keep it on my wall. I have another wall in addition to this one. There's one over here, and I kind of swap stuff out. So I really like to look at this. Yeah,
I've almost bought that issue twice. I'm definitely want to get it in my collection at one point.
you need this one.
It's
Everyone
not,
needs.
and it's still not super expensive.
No. Mm-mm. Well, and the crap I write, I buy this is why I like reader copies, because in general, you put them in a nice bag and board, they present well, and you can take them out and read them guilt-free.
I never feel guilty about reading a comic, no matter how much I spend for it. People are like, "Oh, you shouldn't read that. You can just read it online and keep it in the bag." I'm like, "No, I want to hold it. I want to experience the comic."
Yep.
And I've had some high-end comics where I've put a little rip or tear in them, or the cover came loose because I was flipping the pages.
Mm-hmm.
It's so old, but
Oh,
you know
well.
what? I don't care.
Yep.
I want to read it. I bought this. I remember online when I was at my daughter's wedding in Utah.
Nice.
Doom Patrol 117, February 67. I love that cover. And this was a fun issue too.
Oh, yeah. That was part of a whole fun kind of story arc for them.
Is it Arnold Drake? Is he the one that writes this?
Someone's going to have to fill us in on that, because whoever did the writing on it was amazing.
I forget. I looked it up the other day, but I don't remember. We still got 15 in the chat. We're holding strong.
All right. Well, I've got a. So if we started in the Silver Age with basically Kurt Swan, the Silver Age ends with Neil Adams, and this is one of my favorite Neil Adams covers. Again, it's the Legion. Everything about this thing is just so exciting to me. It just is such a comic book, and I think it's just great stuff. And no one was doing art like this, and so you can tell how the Silver Age is giving way to the Bronze Age. And as someone said in the chat, some different kinds of storytelling and different, a little darker things are starting to get a little darker. But things change. They gotta. Time has to roll on.
I hear you. I'm going to show a book that is, I think, 1970, just because, or 71. I just bought this. I showed it to you yesterday. But since you brought up Neil Adams, Superboy 178. I haven't showed this in a haul yet. I just bought it for $2. Man, Superboy Man Bad or whatever, Monster Maker, the Lone Wolf Legionnaire.
That's great.
And only 25 cents, and bigger and better.
Those were great books because they had 3 stories in them instead of just 2. So yes, you got an original first story, but then you got 2 reprints. And you got all those ads, and you got all the letters to the editor. It was a value.
Oh yeah,
way more than now. I've been griping to anyone to listen to me. I feel so sorry for comic book collectors and readers today, paying $4 a pop for something that I can spend maybe 8 minutes reading, if that. I would much rather spend $4 to $8 a piece to get something, old that has more stuff in it. So that's how I do it.
Simon Comics says he's just bought a Neil Adams piece of art. He hasn't showed it on his channel yet.
Oh, nice. A commission? That would be nifty. I was thinking about doing that. I was thinking about like contacting Neil Adams and his son, whoever does that, because I thought it would be funny to have the Legion or the Justice League sitting around meditating. I don't know if he'd do it though.
We just jumped up to 19. We got Centauri Stir Fry in the house. Welcome, brother. 8 minutes must be an annual. Where is that? Okay, who's up? Me? You?
I think it's me.
Okay.
So just because I'm on Neil Adams and we've been talking about Brave and Bold, and you had the other Brave and Bold you showed was the with the Green Arrow, but this is the first time we saw a new Green Arrow for a new era. And you think about this cover. There's somebody who's been shot. He could possibly be dead. That was a little too intense for earlier in the Silver Age, I think. So the times they were a changing for the Silver Age, and you started to get stuff like this, which just led in beautifully to the Bronze Age, which I love the Bronze Age.
That book's a little bit pricey too.
This is a really cruddy copy, and I got it a few years ago because I decided that how can a self-respecting Neil Adams fan call themselves such and not have some of these classics?
I like how you always say that.
Yeah, it's like, come on, just get a crappy copy and pay the people. And like you say, I've never looked back in regret. I don't look back in anger. I don't look back in regret. I was like, I've never had a moment of buyer's remorse for any amount of money I've paid for a comic ever.
We got 20 in the chat. We got Rag718 with us too. Welcome, brother. Oh, I showed you this one. I just picked this up for $2. Second appearance of Dead Man.
You kill me.
Neil Adams interior art, not on the cover, unfortunately. This is a Mike Sikorsky cover, and then Arnold Drake on the scripts. Neil Adams does do the interiors, though.
Can I just say I kind of love how that cover is pretty worn and loved and, well read.
I can't believe I went and left this twice there, and it was still there when I came back.
I love it.
I'm like, why didn't I grab this?
I love that it's chewed up. You know what I mean? It's like, no, that's a comic book.
Gives it character.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, you'd love the smell.
Well, I've only got one more.
And you don't have any handy that you could just pop up and grab a stack?
Well, while you go, I'll stand up and get
Okay, you show your last one, and then I'll show a couple while you get your...
All right, so...
Get rebooted. Oh, yeah.
I mean, come on.
That's classic.
This.
You could just see the agony in his face.
This is such... it's so hard to talk about because it's just so amazing. To go from the stilted and kind of stiff look of early Silver Age to this emotion and this energy and this it's great, and it's also a fantastic story. I don't remember when I got this, but I paid, and I don't remember what I paid for it. And I have looked at getting maybe a higher end copy for my, key to me wall, but they're kind of pricey, and it's like, this is good enough, and I get to hold it out and read it. So this is one of my favorites. So
every time I look at that, I think, what if Neil Adams had drawn Daredevil in the Bronze Age? Because look at the character Dead Man on that cover. He looks just like Daredevil. It is just so cool. I just love that cover. I don't like the Batman so much, but the Dead Man, he just pops right out of that cover.
I love that character. There was I have a copy. I was going to do a video at some point of there's a story in a World's Finest where Dead Man works with Batman and Superman on a case, and I reread it for the first time in a long time. I'm like, God, that's really cool. But then I realized it was going to, I hope they go on with that. So I bought the next issue where they appeared, and it was like, what a dud. Like, they had a great premise that they just pooped out on, and maybe I'll do a video on that, and I can gripe about it on my own.
Do you have like a notebook where you write down like the theme of all your videos you're going to do?
What I've done is when I started this, I scribbled down. I was amazed at how many ideas I had. I have a piece of paper somewhere that has my chicken scratchings on it. And then basically whenever I get an idea, I just kind of do it. I have a bunch of videos that are already in the can because if I had an idea and if the light was right in my office, I would just do them because they're kind of evergreen topics. There's nothing that is really that time sensitive. So I've got some ideas, and discussions like this and watching other people's videos always spurs some ideas too. So I'm kind of surprised at how much the comic collection I have generates in like, oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's interesting. I talk about that. So that's how I do it. I'm sure at some point I'll run out. But,
we just got to look into the madness of silver-haired Bronze Age babe's mind. Yeah, your head's going to get really big now.
Yeah. Yeah. Where's at least I can check with my friend Flash on how to handle that.
Okay, so you're going to grab some more?
Yeah.
All right. We'll run it up to 10 o'clock, so we got like 23 minutes left.
Okay.
All right, so I've got some stuff. Silver-haired Bronze Age babe has this one on her wall. I just got this. I'm going to put the video up soon. This is the first appearance of the Bizarro Flash. I picked this up at the Comic-Con here in town for $15. Lois Lane, number 74, May 1967. And I read this too. It's definitely really fun. He comes to Earth and he has like amnesia. And he's a regular kind of guy because they kicked him out of the Bizarro planet because he looked too ugly because he looked normal. So, but you'll have to read it to figure out the rest. Let me see here. The Flash 180, Ross Andrew cover. I've been wanting this. I seen it at the flea market and it was so beat up and the cover was detached. The guy wanted $8. And I was like, I am not paying that. And about a month later, it showed up at the same flea market. Another guy had it and I got it for $5. And a nice, decent copy. Reminds me of the Silver Samurai. Are you ready, Sarah?
Yes, I'm ready, and I'm laughing at Centauri stir fry. I'm a low-grade slab guy. That way, I could take it in the tub with me. Nice.
So,
that's
okay.
a thought. That's a good thought. All right, I pulled a couple off my wall. I love the 80-page giants, and I love Lois Lane.
Nice.
So this is 80-page giant number 3. So this was from I think 64.
Yeah, you showed that in the video, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean this you can't beat this stuff. If anybody is looking for Silver Age, a way to jump into the Silver Age, check out the 80-page giants because they reprint some great stories. Most of them can be found in reader copy condition for good money. I would rather pay whatever kind of a low grade 80-page giant goes for these days than kind of the contemporary books because you'll get a lot more enjoyment out of them, I think. But
Yeah,
just...
and I found one in the dollar bin a couple weeks ago and one in the 50-cent bin last month. So I guess they think because they're reprints, they're not really worth the money. I don't know.
It's wrong. It's just wrong.
Simon said he just bought an Action Comics number 44. It's so beautiful.
Oh my gosh.
And Michael Dodd said DC 80-page giant war books are awesome. Oh yeah, I picked up a bunch of those at the flea market. I love war books.
You know, I just got a Sergeant Rock 80-pager that I kind of enjoyed. And I didn't realize when I got it that it was like different stories, not just Rock, but
Right.
like a bunch of war stories. And I was impressed by them. I really liked them.
All right, well, I think I have an 80-page giant in here, another one.
Speaking of one.
Do I? Dare I? No, I don't. I thought I did. Huh. Okay, then what am I going to show? You know what? Let's do a House of Mystery number 100 milestone issue.
Oh, those are great.
I got was one seller like 2 years ago on eBay was selling these. So I bid on, I don't know, like 10 or 12, and I won all of them. So I averaged about $8.50 a piece. Wasn't bad.
Mm-hmm.
Giant monsters, the beast beneath the earth.
Good. Seems like a value to me.
I love seeing that 10-cent price up there. That makes it look even cooler. And it's got that pink, like you said, that Pepto-Bismol pink.
Yep. Well, speaking of Pepto-Bismol pink, how about the first death of Superman? This is, let's see, number 149. I think from 1961. And it's the last 10-cent issue of the book. And I don't know how much I paid for it. I think it was probably like about maybe $5-10. And I kind of entertain myself every now and then with going on eBay and seeing what this book goes for. And I think people are, I have seen people pay, up to $100 for this book. So that's why it's in a protective cozy and will remain such, because it's in pretty good shape.
Turn it sideways. I want to see what that protective thing looks like.
This thing, these frames were recommended to me, and what you do is they pop out. She says, trying to do it.
Well, at least you didn't say
like
easily. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it just snaps on.
Oh, okay, cool. It's like a miniature cake container.
Yeah, it's my partner worked for eBay for a while in the collectibles group, and so that's part of the reason in the comics group, and that's part of the reason I got back into collecting in a big way in the last 6, 7, 8 years. We never got a deal on anything, but I was happy to help her test out her sellers to make sure they were doing everything right on eBay. So anyway, one of her coworkers who knows a ton about comics, I was kind of kvetching about, well, what do I do? I have these beautiful books and so he twigged me to these frames. And so I use them so I keep my key to me and books I just are really special to me that I have in kind of a higher grade in these things.
Cool.
So that's why they're in these. So
Centauri Stir Fry said the background of that comic has cured his heartburn. You're quite a card there, Centauri. Oh, what do I got? How about the Genie Batman, Detective Comics 322?
Wow. You go back so far. I Don't have them.
I'm sure this is a Sheldon Moldoff cover. The bizarre Batman genie. First Batman was like outer space, aliens. Then you get he's a genie. There was just no bounds to what DC could do, these characters. No limits.
Yep.
And there's the beautiful Batgirl right there. Always nice to see the Golden Age Batgirl or Silver Age.
That's so cool.
That was an eBay buy, I think.
Do you get a lot of stuff on eBay, or it doesn't seem like you need to because you have that comic shop that...
Mostly Golden Age. Once in a great while, if it's a great deal, I'll buy comics that are for bronze or silver, or Usually I'm looking for Golden Age. I don't look for anything else.
Yeah.
Because you can't find that at the stores, especially not in this area.
Right.
And like Michael Dawes said, mostly I'll look for buy it nows. Like today is Monday. So today I look through all the new listings of Golden Age comics, buy it nows. And then on Sunday, this next Sunday, I'll look for all the ending listings of auctions for Golden Age.
Oh, that's a smart way to do it. Because I agree, the buy it now makes it, I'm just like, I want it now,
I'll tell you what I do. If I see some books that are like $200-$300 books at the beginning of the auction and they're only like $10 bidding right there, I jack those suckers up to like $70-$80 because I know they're going to go for more than that. So I was like, let me help this guy out.
I've done that myself. It's like, golly, I was like, well, maybe no one will.
And then sometimes I'm like, come on, somebody outbid me. I don't
right.
want it.
It's like, oh, sure.
I was just helping you out. Okay, what do I got here? I'm going to do another Batman. This one I bought at an antique store that went out of business. $20 paid for this.
Oh, nice.
$190, March 67, Gardner Fox, Carmen Infantino.
Yep.
What a war. The Penguin and his weapon umbrella army against Batman and Robin. Who's going to win?
All those characters just disappeared in the Bronze Age, until the Joker came back with that famous issue. But the Riddler went away and Penguin, went to the Penguin house or whatever.
Did Neil Adams ever do a Penguin story?
I don't think so, but again, I could, someone who knows way more than me.
Riddler story. Did he do a Catwoman story? I don't know. I know he did Joker. That'd be something to find out.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Batman.
Batman. Carmen Infantino.
Carmen Infantino. Sorry for the glare.
Don't apologize for the glare. That's the new motto.
I did a video about this book and this story because I first came across it when it was reprinted in a DC special. And I loved the story. It always stuck with me. And then when I got back into collecting, I bought a higher grade copy of the DC special that it was reprinted in, but I didn't like the cover. So I got a crappy copy of this. And I thought, I love, just looking at it and seeing it. It's like, I love this cover. I love everything about this cover. So I went and I bought, I think I paid a walloping $34. See, I write it on the back so that my heirs know what's going on with the book. So the seller rated it as like a 7.5. Looks fine to me. I was happy to, the price seemed good. And I just love having this on my wall. I will never I'd love to see this every day. It's just one of those favorite books. And so it's pretty.
Do you remember reading that DC History of Silver Age book that you have where it talked about how Carmen Infantino really revolutionized and evolved the Flash's speed look?
Yep. Yeah,
And
and
they
you
showed some dynamic pictures in there of the change that he made to the Flash.
absolutely. I mean, you can see in this just, yes, those lines and how he's the arch, he's not just it's kind of amazing. Even Batman has, some swooshiness. It's just very cool. It's very at the beginning of the Silver Age, most of the covers have characters just standing there. And Carmine Infantino's like, well, maybe we can do something more.
We got Justice for Comics in with us too. He just joined in the chat. Welcome.
Thank you. Yes, I love the Batman book. It's great.
Centauri, Carmen really pushed for Bill Finger's back credit back in the day. He's a hero in my book. I do have the Jerry Robinson book. I got it there at Ollie's for like $6, the hardcover. That's a really good read and really delves into some of the stuff about early Golden Age DC books and characters and the dynamics between Bill Finger, Jerry Robinson, and Bob Kane. If you ever get a chance to pick that up.
Mm-hmm.
Where am I at? What about? Oh, I did have 80-page giant. There it is. What about the Kryptonite Kid? Superboy number 99.
Nice.
And he's even got his little Kryptonite dog there, taking out Krypto. His first appearance was in number 83. Just one of those cool little quirky characters they came up with again. How does this guy have kryptonite? I mean, Superboy was the last surviving citizen of that planet. So now here's someone else has the similar properties coming from the same planet he came from.
Well, that's what I say about the Silver Age. They're like, oh God, how are we going to make stories? So it's like, let's have shards of the planet all over the place. And I see Justice for Comics says there was a great documentary on Netflix about Bill Finger. I agree.
Oh, yeah.
I saw that. It was fascinating.
I like how they tried to resist. They were just whining and dining the family, taking him to premieres, putting him in 5-star hotels.
Yeah.
Didn't want to give him any royalties, but finally they had to relent.
Just, ay.
So, for to understand, the history of Kryptonite had something to do with the radio show. The guy that played Superman wanted to go on vacation, and they had to come up with some way to hurt Superman so that he would be like out of the picture for some reason for a couple weeks. And that's how they invented Kryptonite.
Nice.
Now, I've got that from a few sources, so I don't know how true it is, but I read it online somewhere, and then when I watched Coffee and Cars,
Mm-hmm.
they were talking about that, Jerry Seinfeld and somebody else.
Yeah, Bob Kane was a major a-hole. Yeah, watching that documentary is like, ugh, could you be any more of a pig?
Okay, 80-page giant Batman, number 185.
Nice.
November 66. Of course, there's Batman. He's dead. Batman dies at dawn.
I want to get a copy of that original cover, that Dies at Dawn thing, just because it's so iconic. But I think they'd be pricey.
Oh, yeah. I believe that's Golden Age. 50. Well, it might be right on the cusp of silver.
Yeah.
All right. Moving right along. I think we're having fun. Let's see. Simon says, Robinson is another legend I've met many times. Another nice and talented person. Sadly, all these guys are gone now. Jerry Robinson and Joe Simon were great friends till the end. They passed within 7 days of each other. We got Man Cave Comics in here too. Hey, how you doing, buddy? Neil Adams did the cover for Batman 210 with Catwoman.
Ah.
Okay.
See, the hive mind knows. They know.
And says, well, Kane isn't all to blame. He did take credit, but that's because he was legally binding. DC signed a contract that said Kane was the sole creator, and that would be it. Yeah, that's what I understand. He was a businessman, and you know, things played out different later in life, but in the beginning, it was just a business deal. What you got for us?
All right. How about another Lois Lane?
How about it?
This is 1969. This is a Neil Adams cover. I have a thing for Lois Lane in wedding dresses. And I bought this. Again, my partner was working at eBay. And so one of her sellers had this up for, I think, a buy it now. And because I don't want to waste my time bidding. And I paid $61 for it. I'll just tell you all. And they graded it as a 9.6. And I love it. I think it's beautiful. And it seems, I mean, I don't think you can tell, but the binding, it's a beautiful quality book. And so I was happy with that. It was one of the first purchases I made when she got her gig. She's like, would you do me a favor and buy something from them? I want to see how they do it. It's like, okay. So.
Well, you're going to hate me when I tell you how much I paid for my copy.
Okay.
$1.
$1?
Yeah.
Well, what condition is it in, Nighttiger?
It's not that high, but it's mid-high.
Okay.
They had a new shop. My shop here opened another store in another town, and they put all their books out for the grand opening, and they just put them all out and said everything was $1. They hadn't had time to price. And that was one of the books they missed. I think I got 2 Lois Lanes in there for $1.
Yeah. Simon Comics says he's thinking about getting some of these holders. I love them. They're very sharp. They're very easy. And it's a nice way to go. And particularly, I have some slabbed books, but I have never sent anything to CGC. I have no interest in doing it. So this is a nice alternative and highly recommended.
Okay, well, how about I got 2 books I want to show, and then you got a few.
I got one more, and then
okay, so let me show one. You show one, and I'll do the last one.
Okay, sounds like a plan.
So I showed you this one. I just picked this up at the con for $15. First appearance of Parasite. Action Comics 350. August 1966. This is Jim Shooter on scripts. Kurt Swan on the art. So Shooter must have been, he had to be 15 years old when he did this script here.
Man, that's incredible. Cool. Yeah.
And that was one I picked up from the con a couple weeks ago. I got the video coming up probably tomorrow.
Yeah. That was a beautiful book. All right, my last one. I mentioned it before. This is another Neil Adams. This is Adventures. Oh, yeah. This I had my ratty copy of this was a hand me over, and I love this story. It's actually a very sweet love story. And
I think I read that.
Yeah, and Chameleon Boy is transported to another world, falls in love with somebody, and what the scene that you're seeing is actually his marriage ceremony. He's not about to be killed, and of course they save him just in time, and so it's like, ark. But I didn't, it's just amazing to me that so many of the comics that I loved as a kid, I didn't realize that Neil Adams was doing the covers. It just didn't. Like you say, when, you kind of lose your comic book virginity to Neil Adams, it's like I have a certain level of love for this stuff. And so I had to get a nicer quality copy of this one because it's just a great cover and it's a very special book.
I remember reading that. I probably have a low grade copy.
My
Tim,
low grade copy is so scummy. The paper literally feels like cloth.
ooh. We got Tim, Canadian Comic Book Hunter, with us. And we're still going strong with 15, but we're going to show the last book. This is one I picked up at the shop last month, a month ago. Or a month ago. Bizarro Meets Frankenstein.
Oh, yeah.
Superman number 143, February 61.
That was one of the last books I got to complete my Superman run. And I just kind of was like, this is super funny, you know?
All right. Well,
I think we did it.
yeah, we
Yeah,
had
look at
fun doing
that.
it too. 10 o'clock. We got 17 in the chat. Thanks everyone for the support. We got Amazing Murfinator just showed up, 10:28. Welcome, but we've been here an hour and a half. I think we satisfied everybody's fix for their DC Silver Age comics.
If we didn't, I'm out of steam.
But I hope we inspired them to go out and start collecting this stuff and reading it. I'm having a ball reading this stuff.
And thank you, Centauri, for the sub. I appreciate that. So,
Sarah, thanks for. Oh, go ahead.
Thank you for everyone who's been in the chat. This has been a blast, Mike. I maybe sometime we can do this again, talk some Bronze Age, because this was a lot of fun.
I was actually thinking the same thing myself.
Yeah.
Oh, it was blast. I hate to go, but we got to go. It's getting late.
Yeah, I gotta go check Monday Night Football. All right, everybody.
Everybody have a great night. We're signing off.
Bye.